everybody. I thought I'd just jump on a minute early just to say hello and welcome you all. Leonore and I are so excited to have you here. Be doing all this. It's wonderful to see you. I see so many names I know and so many names I don't know. So this is the best. This is the best. I have the best job in the whole world. Um, let's see, how are we doing? You can chat. Somebody test the chat for me. Just type in and say like, yes, yes, I can chat. And there's Leonore. Say hi, Leonore.
Hi.
So, yeah, so while you guys are all jumping on, I'll just let you know. So I'm here in California, Leonore's in Vermont, so between the two of us, we have the entire country covered. And you guys are all over the world, so that's exciting. And I want to give a very special welcome to those of you who are dialing in or watching online internationally. I guess not dialing in, you can't really listen to this on the phone yet, but who are dialing into the computer internationally, those of you who are all over the country, those of you who are watching this later in a replay, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you've taken this time to honor your own creativity and your own stuckness. Because really, this is part of the journey we're all on. You know, we didn't become artists so that it would be easy. We became artists because we were fascinated by this struggle of moving forward and getting stuck and moving forward and getting stuck and solving these fabulous problems that creativity gives us. So I also want to welcome any Get It Done alumni who are here. I want to welcome my Creative Genius CEOs, my VIPs, my private clients, my friends, my celebrity friends. All of you are so welcome in this space. If you're having any trouble with the webinar, like if I'm stuttering or something, if you go up to the top, if you hover your little mouse above the top, you'll see a little thing that looks like a gear, and you can lower the setting so that I'll be more pixelated, but the video should run a little better. So let's see if that works for everybody. You know, I want to start the way I like to start everything, which is just with 1 second of breathing, just to get us all into the same space, even those of you who are watching the replay, to get us into this space of creativity and new things and new ideas and new possibilities. And to get you into your body for a second. Your body works so hard for you all the time. It loves you so much. So let's give a second to just breathe. We're going to inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And if you want to ignore it, that's fine. We'll be done in just a second. Otherwise, just take this moment to soften your gaze and your heart and your belly. And we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Thank you for doing that with me. So the number one word that I hear from all of you is overwhelm. You're overwhelmed because you've got too many things to do. You've got, you know, I ended up identifying 10 separate forms of overwhelm. And what I want to do is run through them with you and see how many you recognize from your own life. And also talk about some of the antidotes, some of the ways to get past it, at least some of the methods. We'll do a deep dive into 1 or 2 of them. And then also, I've got a new session of the Get It Done workshop coming up and starting, so I want to be sure to tell you how you can get in on that party. So is that okay with everybody? Do I have your permission to share with you about Overwhelm and talk to you about the course and all that? You can type into chat. Let's see. I can remove that sticky note. Oh, there it is. Hi everybody. Oh, good. Oh, so wonderful to see you all. Hi. Oh, this is great. Oh, all Canada, New Zealand. Hi, everybody. Norway. Hi. Yeah, fantastic. Great to see you all. Okay, good. Glad to know that everybody's on deck and ready to go. Let's talk about overwhelm. And keep a running track for yourself because, like I said, I've identified 10 kinds of overwhelm. What kind do you have, or how many of these do you have? So keep a little running tally, either on a piece of paper. I know a lot of you think better when your hands are busy, so feel free to take notes during this. Doodle, draw, record your inspirations. I know it may feel like, oh, I'm always going to remember this, but you won't. So have a little piece of paper and a pen. 10 kinds of overwhelm. How many of them apply to you? Number one form of overwhelm. Too many ideas. Too many great ideas. Too many ideas for businesses, too many ideas for projects, too many ideas for books, too many ideas for ways you could go. Too many ideas. No sooner do you start thinking of one than you think of 37 others, and they all appear so large and complete and full and rich, and they all seem like really good ideas because they are really good ideas. All right, so if that happens to you, count yourself one too many ideas. Good. Second kind of overwhelm, too many half-finished projects. Too many half-finished projects. So, like, you've got a bunch of things that are more or less ready to go, but not quite. And you kind of want to start something new, but you also feel that pressure of like, oh, I should really finish these ones that aren't finished yet. Anybody? Anybody have both so far? Okay. And don't worry, I'll review these again. So, number three kind of overwhelm, too many intermediate steps. So that looks like, oh, I want to start my business, but I have to get my website up first. Ugh, right? Oh, I want to, you know, write a screenplay, but I should really get a degree. Like, I should really get some more training. Or, yeah, I saw this on the one of the magazines in the grocery store the other day. Kirstie Alley saying, "I've lost 50 pounds and I'm ready for love." Now, I don't really have an opinion about Kirstie Alley or her love life, but this idea of like, oh, I want to find love, but I need to lose 50 pounds first? Oh my God, that's overwhelming. All right, so we've got so far too many ideas, too many half-finished projects, too many ideas that have too many intermediate steps in order to feel, it feels overwhelming because there's so much to do before you can actually get to the thing, right? How's this hitting you guys? Ringing a bell? Ringing a bell? Good. Okay. I'm looking at the chat. For those of you who are watching the replay, you do not have chat, but you can email us if you have any questions or anything comes up for you that you particularly want to talk about. Number four, you're not actually overwhelmed, you're actually sort of underwhelmed. You're just really not all that interested in the idea. That happens a lot, especially with other people's ideas for you. Like, you should become a teacher. And you think, ugh. And that feels sort of overwhelming. But it's not really overwhelming. You're just not that interested. Okay. Good? Number five reason for overwhelm, no time. And this is no time because you chronically underestimate how much time something's going to take, right? You think you can, as my grandmother used to say, put 5 pounds of sugar into a 4-pound bag, right? You don't allow enough buffer time. You don't allow enough time for things to go wrong. So you end up cramming things in at the last minute and it feels totally overwhelmed. So that's no time due to time management, overly ambitious projects. Number 6 is no time because you can't say no to other people. You are constantly giving up your own time and your own projects because you're helping everybody else with their projects, with their life, with their problems. Okay, so far I'm getting a lot of like, yep, 3 for 3, 2 out of 3, spot on, yep, me too, yep, okay, good. I'm glad to know this is ringing a bell. Because there's a third kind of no time. This is no time because you get caught up in the urgent but not important. Right? You kind of fritter away your time a little bit. You get involved in Facebook or YouTube or TV or, you know, housework, email, all that stuff that seems really like it should get done right now, but what happens is you end up you do all this little meaningless stuff, but you don't actually do the big stuff that would really matter, right? All right, so just to review, our 10 kinds of overwhelm so far. uh, too many ideas, too many half-finished projects, too many intermediate steps between you and the project. You're actually underwhelmed. You're not all that interested. You don't have any time because you're not very good at managing your time or estimating how long things are actually going to take. You don't have any time because you can't say no to other people. You don't have any time because you spend time on things that are urgent and not important. Okay, I'm getting a lot of hand raises on the thing. Yep, so me, Facebook. Yes, that's me. Procrastination. Yeah. I kept saying she loves my low-tech visuals. Yes, thank you. These are my slides. Hello. Okay, good. Keep a running count because there's 2 more. You ready? Number 8 seems a little counterintuitive, but I hear about it all the time. Too much time. Too much time. You don't have a deadline. I hear this especially from people who are recently retired or they just got laid off, and they all of a sudden are like, oh my gosh, I've got all the time I've ever wanted in my world, and I can't seem to get off the couch. Like I'm not doing anything. And it's even sort of financially urgent that I do something, and yet I'm not doing anything. Ring a bell? We don't talk about this one very much, but it happens all the time. People who have no real deadline, and the days just kind of slip away, right? Number 9 is really significant. Number 9 is what I call too many time boulders, and somebody on the chat just mentioned this, having a full-time job. When you have things that really that are mandatory and really absorb a whole lot of time, like a new baby, like a health crisis, like a demanding full-time job, like somebody else in your family is unwell, an ailing parent, some kind of financial crisis or other kind of family crisis, those things are time boulders. Like they take up an enormous amount of time and mental energy, and while sometimes you can farm some of it out to somebody else or not try to not be the full-time caretaker or the full-time whatever, a lot of times you can't. And that can feel really overwhelming when you're trying to move forward on your creative projects and you've got some 1, 2, 3, 4 of these time boulders in your life. That can be a really tough situation, and that can easily lead to a feeling of overwhelm. All right, and number 10. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Number 10 is you feel overwhelmed because you're brilliant. You have an entrancingly subtle mind. You see infinite possibilities and permutations. To settle on just one seems cruel and unusual. Art is about feelings and ideas. It cannot be rushed. It happens in the gray areas. I love all my ideas. Please, please, please don't make me pick just one. Ring a bell? And it's true. You are brilliant. You are all those things. And no matter how many of these you've got going, and I'd love to hear how many of these 10 apply to you. You got 1 out of 10, you got 2 out of 10, you got 10 out of 10. Yeah, Roseanne says boulders, boulders, boulders. Martha's dealing with her mom being unwell. Renee says she gets stuck in busy work and thinks she's getting something done. That's that urgent but not important thing, right? That's that, what number did I give that? Urgent but not important, number 7. Yeah, right? Yeah, good. Boulders, that's me. Yes, we're brilliant. You are brilliant. You are. But what I want to point out to you, what I want you noticing here, is that we use the word overwhelm to encompass a big territory. And there are, in fact, different kinds of overwhelm and different ways to be overwhelmed. And if you are dealing with more than 1 or 2, it's a little complicated. It's not such an easy thing. We think, oh, I should just be able to get over this. I should just be able to make myself do it. Well, I don't think that's correct. I think if you are dealing with 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10, you've got sort of a complicated problem, and it's going to require a kind of elegant solution, right? Mary says 10 out of 10. Judith, 8 out of 10. Susan, 3, 4, 7, 8. So that's 4 out of 10. James says, holy smokes, all of them. Right on. Yeah. 4 out of 10. Yep. This is referring to 7 out of 10. Just got rid of the last boulder and want to be moving before the next one hits. Yep. MK says 9 out of 10. And she's a Get It Done alumni. 3 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 9. Yeah, so you're leading a very complicated life. Melly says, now I'm convinced Sam reads in my head. I do. I have a camera in your house. That's how I know. No, I know because I hear from you. I know because you tell me these things. I know because it's my own life, too. I struggle with these things, too. So, are you now feeling overwhelmed by your overwhelm? I hope not, because we have some solutions. I have some solutions for you. So yeah, overwhelm is a complicated thing, and there may even be more kinds of overwhelm than I've even covered here. You may think of a few more that you want to add to the list and go, you know how I really get overwhelmed is this way or that way, and I encourage you to add to that list so that you can really be precise in the source of the problem. Because once we know what the problem is, we can get to work on a better solution. But quit thinking that it's easy, quit thinking that it's your fault, quit thinking that it's somehow some shortcoming of yours. You're doing great. You're doing a beautiful job with your life, and I know that because you're here. You have taken the time and the awareness and the self-awareness to say, I really want to be doing more. I really want to be doing more that feels important. So I'm going to take this time out of my life to spend with Sam and with Leonora and see if I can't get a little forward movement in this time. And that's great. The fact that you are willing to seek professional help is very good. I really encourage you. Anytime you have a problem that has that's complicated, that has a lot of moving parts, I think it's really worth getting professional help. Let me check the chat. How are we doing? Could a messy workspace make you feel overwhelmed, or is it a symptom of the overwhelm in your head? Oh no, your environment can absolutely make you feel overwhelmed. Some people are super duper sensitive to visual noise, to actual noise, and just being in the presence of a lot of stuff will make them kind of edgy and overwhelmed. So absolutely, absolutely. Your environment matters more, I think, than we often know. So let's look at a few of these. I don't have time, obviously, to go into all 10, because then we would be here for like 5 hours. And my plan is to teach for about an hour-ish, and then I will stay on the line and answer questions for as long as you guys have questions, because I've cleared the whole afternoon, and nobody's more important to me than you all. So the first two, the too many ideas and too many half-finished projects. These are the ones that I probably hear most, and so again, if they're yours, congratulations, you're right on track. You must be an artist. And these also are complicated. They have a lot of moving parts, some of them external, some of them internal. The internal stuff has to often do with commitment issues, not wanting to choose, not wanting to decide, feeling like you might be betraying one idea if you commit to another one. A lot of times we've got fear of being judged by other people. We don't want to fail publicly. We don't want other people to think our stuff is stupid. We don't want to seem like we're getting too big for our britches. All that fear of judgment will keep us in a state of overwhelm and not moving. When we get cut off from our own inner wisdom, that can really lead to an issue of overwhelm or not being able to decide on your project, not being able to finish a project, because you're really not hearing that deep voice of your own wisdom that knows how important your work is, that knows how significant it is for you to be moving forward on your projects. So if you take nothing away from this, we focus on this a lot in the Get It Done workshop, but if you take nothing else away from this, please do whatever practice you can find to re-engage your intuition, your inner wisdom, your divine voice, whatever you want to call that. That's really important. Also, and this one happens for me all the time, visibility issues. Because secretly, a lot of artists are really very shy. You know, we're gregarious loners, right? I mean, we're fun at a party, but really, we'd kind of rather be alone, right? So that visibility issue, that willingness to step out and say, okay, yes, I'm the expert. Yes, I made this work. Yes, I put this out in the public eye. That can be sort of complicated. And like I said, we we do so much of this. We cover so much of this in the Get It Done workshop, and especially actually the first bonus is the Procrastination Domination Starter Kit, which gives you 2 of my favorite tools for determining what your best project is and getting over that fear of judgment. So that's a bonus that's available to you, and it'll solve that problem like that. Jill asks, how do you get cut off from your own inner wisdom? Well, I think there's a lot of ways to get cut off from your own inner wisdom. One is to not know that you have any. The way it happened for me was I was really involved in solving everybody else's problem. The question, what do I want, never occurred to me. My whole life was about, well, what do you want? What can I do for you? How can I be of service to you or to the group? So I got very numb to my own desire, to my own intuition, to my own wisdom, and was driven almost entirely by a sense of duty because I really wanted to be a good little girl. And then I woke up. So that's an answer to that question. Good. So that's those first 2. Like I said, I can't get deep into all the solutions, but those are some of the issues that show up in that too many ideas and too many half-finished projects. This thing with the intermediate steps, I want to spend a little bit of time on this one though, because I love this. Like I said, I was in the grocery store. Kirstie Alley, I've lost 50 pounds and now I'm ready for love. What does 50 pounds have to do with being ready for love? What does getting a degree have to do with being a writer? What does having a website have to do with having a business? You know, you're allowed to just go right to the thing. You can just start writing. You can just start charging for what you do. You can just double your prices. You can just start looking for love. You can start finding love right now. It can happen right now. What if you removed all those interim steps? And if you're getting that sort of cold water feeling, that like, ooh, really? That like kind of whoosh feeling, that's a good sign. That's energy, right? That's kind of a big yes from the universe going, yeah, just do it. Just jump in. It's like jumping into cold water. It's scary, but it's exhilarating, right? Research, too, is another one. Like, well, I want to look into it some more. You know, that's a very safe place to be, and it'll get you right into overwhelm. Too much information, too many ideas, too many opinions from other people. Just try it. Just do it. Just get it out there. Nothing bad is going to happen. I guarantee, even if something that feels bad happens, it's not really that bad, and it's good that it, and you're always going to feel uncomfortable when you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're always going to feel uncomfortable when you're pushing your own boundaries. Get used to that feeling of discomfort. Get used to that feeling of dissatisfaction, of putting something out there knowing that it's not really ready. That's part of it. That's part of what we love about the creative process. That's partly why we're so mysterious to other people, because they can't even imagine doing that. We can at least imagine it. And when we do it, that's when our work can really have an impact on the world. This is partly, you'll be hearing a lot in the coming months about the Big Yes event in July, which is a live event that I'm doing in LA. 3-day training. It's called the Big Yes. It's called the Big Yes. How to overcome procrastination, perfectionism, and self-doubt and make $10,000 or more from your creativity. And I'm not going to talk about it now, but the whole reason I created this is because I got so tired of this conversation that I kept hearing with people saying, like, well, you know, publishing is dead. Well, you know, opera is dead. The 3-camera sitcom is dead. Magazines are dead. Clog dancing's dead. Stained glass is dead. Calligraphy is dead. Photography is dead. No, it's not. It's not dead. It's never been dead. It will never be dead. The business model has changed. The means of distribution has changed. And it has changed in your favor, which is great news. We could turn this camera on right now and have our very own TV show up by 5 o'clock this afternoon. Right? I could turn on my iPhone and record some things and say it's a podcast and have it up in an hour or two. And all of a sudden I've got my own radio show, where you've got your own radio show. barrier to entry is very low. And yes, that means there's a lot more crap out there, but there's always a lot of crap out there. And your stuff isn't crap. Your stuff is great. And believe me, the great stuff rises to the top every single time. Every single time. Good. So that's that thing with those intermediate steps, that getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready, right? I want to check in on Q&A. I'll mostly answer questions after this, but I want to make sure that nobody's getting left behind here. Not trusting we have enough information to be the expert. That's right. You are the expert. I mean, you don't know everything. Being an expert doesn't mean you know everything. It means you know what you know. And you do. You know what you know. Right? Just jump. So difficult. So simple and yet so difficult. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, not being clear on your desires or aligned with your beliefs. Yep. 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 Mally says there's some great Pinterest pages to help you organize your workspace. Yes, but Pinterest can be one of those big time sucks now, can't it? Good. Being the fixer doesn't let you hear your own voice. Yep, that's correct. That's correct. Good. Wes says, sometimes I feel like I'm the jack of all trades, master of none, researching everything, then getting overwhelmed with all the info. Yeah, that's really a symptom of the information age. There's a lot of information out there, and it's all really good. And it really feels like you should be able to do everything all the time. So yeah, I really urge you to pick one thing, because, as we all know, you cannot chase two bunnies. Right? So do research, but set a limit on it. Do it for 15 minutes, and then go into action. You'll learn way more by doing stuff than you are by reading about it. That jump on in thing, I use this sometimes as an analogy about, you know, how you have to start experiencing getting your art out there, or getting your business out there, or getting yourself out there in a new way. And it's a little like, the difference is like, people are like, well, I've read all the self-help books, you know, I know all that. Yeah, it's like reading about swimming. You know, reading about swimming is very informative, but it has nothing to do with actually swimming. Or for that matter, reading about sex. Reading about sex, also a lot of fun, very different from actual sex. Actual sex, way messier and way more fun. And I guarantee you, actually being out there, getting your work out into the world, even just out of your head and onto a piece of paper, is way more exciting, way messier, but way more exciting, right? Good. Number 4 was that thing about being underwhelmed, right? That you're not really overwhelmed, you're actually underwhelmed. And that happens when we've kind of set the bar too low, or we're dealing with something that's a little dull. I realize this looks like I'm drinking swamp water. It's actually apple cider vinegar, organic apple cider vinegar and water. Super yummers. And this is something I got from my friend Amy Ehlers, who's a life coach at Wake Up Call Coaching. And it's a really good question to ask yourself, like, oh, am I actually really bored? Like, I have a hard time getting interested if a project's not actually big enough. Like, I need it to be kind of big and juicy and almost impossible before I really get interested. So it may be that your things are just underwhelming you. And Amy and I talked about that quite a bit in a call we just did recently about overcoming overwhelm. And if it was a free call, you're welcome to get that recording. If you haven't already, you can just email us at admin@theorganizedartistcompany.com, spelled all the way out, admin@theorganizedartistcompany.com. We'd be happy to send you that recording, because I talk more about that underwhelm, overwhelm thing. All right, let's get to number 5. Number 5 is this no time. What I really, the no time, because you're not very good at time management, a lot of people have this. You know, again, you get optimistic about how much can get done, you've got a big appetite for getting things done, and you start to think like, oh sure, I can cook dinner, work on my novel, and tuck the kids in the next 45 minutes, no problem. So I want you to start really getting realistic with yourself about how long things take. And I actually even write stuff down. And what really started to kick in for me was when I started to write in the buffer time. So like if I'm going to go meet Leonora at the coffee shop at 3, and I know it's only a 10-minute drive, Well, yeah, so 3 p.m. at coffee shop, 2:55 parking, let's see, it's 7-minute drive, so 2:45 I should leave the house, which means really 2:40 I should be, locking the door, getting my bag, walking out, which means 2:30 I sort of need to be getting myself together, which means by 2 o'clock I really need to be in the shower because I need a shower, right? So start figuring in those buffer times. And whatever you're estimating the time on a project, add in at least another 10 or 20%. You want to underpromise and overdeliver to yourself. So if you think, oh, I really want to get that done by Friday, well, let's aim to have it done by Wednesday. And then if you get it done by Friday, that's still okay, right? The other time about, the other way of having no time is when you get caught up in other people's stuff. You're spending all your time taking care of other people and attending to their things. This is not, again, this is not a character flaw. This is you being a kind and loving person, which you are. It's also you being a human being. We are tribal animals. We are very attuned to the group. We know that we cannot survive alone in the wild, right? As much as we may wish everyone would just go away sometimes, our animal self knows that we cannot survive alone. We need the group. We need the tribe. So, of course, we are very attentive to what other people think, to whether or not they're approving of us, to wanting to be of service to the groups, and being helpful and friendly so they don't kick us out, right? We're very sensitive to that, and we should be. That's how we've lasted so long here on Earth. So that's a very natural impulse, but it's, for some of you, it's run amok. So I'll give you one tip for this, because I used to have this problem all the time. My date book was filled 14 hours a day doing stuff for everybody else. And what I started to do was when someone would ask me to do something, I would say, oh, that sounds great. Thank you so much for asking me. I'm so flattered that you would think of me for that. Let me check my date book and call you back. Or let me check with my spouse and call you back. Or let me take the weekend and think about it and call you back. Whatever the appropriate time frame was, right? And then I would call them back and say, thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm really not available for that. And they would say, okay, thanks for considering it. Or I'd call them back and say, yes, I'd love to, and that would be great. But whether I thought I wanted to or not, I found I needed to take the time to consider it. Because if you just ask me to do something on the spot, I'll just say yes. I'll just say yes, and then I'll end up rushing, or I won't have enough time, and I'll feel bad, and I don't want to let you down. Does this ring a bell? Right? So if I say, let me think about it and call you back, that gives me a little time to actually consider, hear that inner wisdom. Do I want to? Do I have time? Is this important to me? Is there a return on investment in this? And if yes, then yes. And if no, then I can say, I'm sorry, I'm not available for that. And what's great is if you try and do that in the actual call, when somebody's like, hey, can you work the bake sale? And you say, oh, gosh, I'm sorry, I'm not available for that. They say, really? Because, Leona's going to be there, and it's going to be super duper fun, and it'll be really great, and we really need you. And then you just cave, right? But if you put a little space in there and you say, let me consider it, and I'll call you back, and then you say, I'm sorry, I'm not available for that, but please call me again next year, I've never had anybody question it. I've never had anybody go like, what, really? Because they know you thought about it. So that's my simple tip to saying no and not feeling like people are going to be mad at you. All right? Time frittering. Time fritterers. Hello, time fritterers. You know who you are. You get caught up in the little urgent things. You get caught up in non-things like Facebook and email and YouTube and, things, little things. And you're very busy all day, which is a big value in our culture, to be busy. But you're not really moving forward on the big projects. And honestly, my advice on this one is just to set your timer for 15 minutes and spend 15 minutes on the important project. And then you can go right back to frittering. But I think if you tell yourself that it's only 15 minutes, you don't have to do anything big, it doesn't have to be very good, you're just going to sort of make some notes or write a couple of sentences or do a little sketching or do a little stretching or do a little singing or do a little whatever it is you want to be doing. Sometimes you may get going on it and may find that it's more fun than the frittering. Other days you may stop at 15 minutes and be done. But if you do 15 minutes every single day, you're going to start to see some real progress, and it's going to feel so good that you're not going to be able to stop. That's my experience. This is what happens in the Get It Done worksheet. Okay, so let's talk about this no deadline one, because I realize that this sounds kind of weird for people who are super busy all the time. That like, what do you mean too much time? How could somebody have too much time? I never have enough time. You know, for people who are in it, it's really painful. It's really painful. That sense of like, I have all this time in the world, and I'm not doing the stuff I always promised myself I would do if I had all the time in the world. Like, where is the day going? You know, like I said, people who retire, people who get laid off. I think the thing, part of the thing anyway, is that this hammock idea of like, oh, if I just had all day, that would be ideal. If I could just hang around all day, that's really what I want. It's not really what you want. It's a false ideal. It's not really what most people want. Most people, creative people anyway, really love their work. And our work is different from other people's work because our work actually gives us energy. It's not just, you know, the job that takes your energy. But the projects, those give you energy. So you really want to notice that when you're not working on your projects, it's actually draining energy from you, and when you are working on your projects, it's actually energizing. And to understand that the tension, having a little tension between you and where you want to be, it is a good thing. We talk about tension like it's bad, but it's not. There's to have a little structural tension, it'll pull you forward. So to set those deadlines and set some accountability, deadlines inspire the brain, right? So if you don't have a deadline, if you don't, you know, all of a sudden you're done with school, or you've got your graduate degree, or you got laid off, set yourself some artificial deadlines. I like to do daily, minimum daily requirement, like what has to get done today. And then I tend to go sort of in 6-week chunks and then quarterly chunks, like what needs to happen. I've got sort of my big tent poles, right? Like we've got Get It Done right now. Get It Done workshop starts next month. Then we've got the Big Yes in the summer, and then we'll start Creative Genius CEO, also probably in August, and then there will probably be one other course that I'll do in the fall. Right, so having those sort of tent poles helps me plan, and again, those things call me forward. They let my brain know when to kick in. Right? If I didn't have this webinar scheduled, I never would have written this material. So it's better to schedule it even before you really know what it is, whatever your it is, okay? And the number one thing to remember is that accountability is your best friend. This thing about us being so attuned to the tribe, like use that in your favor. This is why registering for something like the Get It Done workshop can be so super helpful, because you know if you tell yourself you're going to have it done by Thursday, you may or may not have it done. But if you know you've got class with me on Thursday and you're going to have to chat in and say, like, yes, I did the thing I said I was going to do, oh, you'll probably do it. Right? So leverage that desire to please other people, leverage that tribal nature of yours, and use it for some accountability and use it to help move you forward. We often don't have courage to do things for ourselves, but we have courage to do it for the group and on behalf of the group. And when you're in a group, you get to start to inspire other people. It's the best way that we learn. The best way to learn is either doing it yourself or watching somebody else do it. I had a friend who told me a story about teaching her son to ride a bike, and they spent, you know, however long it was with her trying to teach him, you know, how not to wobble and how to pedal and stuff. And he was kind of getting it. And then a little girl from his class sped by on her bicycle, and he got it like that. All he needed was to see another kid his age doing it, and he got it. And that's, again, the benefit of being in a community like the Organized Artist community, is you guys can talk to each other and support each other and model for each other. When you say, gosh, I spent 15 minutes writing some really crappy poetry today, and somebody else can go, hey, I want to do that. I want to spend 15 minutes writing some really crappy poetry. And now there's more poetry in the world, and maybe it's probably not that crappy. Okay. So this leads us to why a person should register for the Get It Done workshop. If this is speaking to you at all, if you're doing a lot of nodding and smiling, you're doing a lot of like, oh, dude, that's so me, Get It Done might be just the thing for you. And Leonora, I don't know if you can float that offer button or not, but it should be in there. But you can go to monstergetitdone.com. www.monstergetitdone.com. That's monster, M-O-N-S-T-E-R, get, G-E-T, it, I-T, done, D-O-N-E.com. monstergetitdone.com. There is a long story about why the website is called Monster Get It Done that I won't bother to explain to you, but be assured there's no monsters involved, except for maybe the ones inside of your mind. So this is my flagship workshop, right? This is the thing the book is based on. This is my work. This is what I love to do best. It's a ton of exercises and questions and inquiries and imagination games and ways for you to stimulate your own inner wisdom, to really get clear on what it is you want to be doing and really have some accountability moving forward in that. I created it because there's no right way. There's no right way for you to get your projects done. There's just your way. So for you to spend 6 weeks getting in touch with what really works for you, how do you leverage your own natural energy, your own flow, your own give and take, the things you like to do? How can you do it so that it's easy for you, so that it's fun and zingy? Right? That's what this course is all about. It's not like I've got some incredible step-by-step method and you have to do it my way. Not at all. What I have are some incredible methods for you to figure out what your incredible method is, because it's your method that matters for you. And even if you've got something that used to work, like, oh, I used to be able to do this way. Yeah, well, things change. You may need to find a new way of working, right? So Monster to Get It Done, it's the Get It Done workshop. It's 6 weeks, plus there's 2 bonus Q&A calls, plus you get a whole year of support in the 365 Club, because I didn't want to leave you hanging after just 6 weeks. So every month there's an open call with me. You can bring in your questions. You can ask whatever you want. You can listen to other people while they're working through stuff. It's super helpful. And there's a private Facebook page where you can go to get advice, to get cheerleading, to have a shoulder to cry on, to ask me a question. There's also, what else do you get? Oh, you get a bunch of ebooks, for free as a bonus. And you get a ticket to the Big S in July, which is like $2,500 worth bonus. I mean, I think the tickets are $800 or something. So this is, Get It Done is $365. If you think of it as $1 a day for your project, that's why I priced it that way. $1 a day and 15 minutes a day for your project. You're worth it. $365, 6 weeks. You can pay it all at once. You can also pay it in 3 installments. If you'd rather do that, that's fine with me. And even if you're getting that feeling of like, oh, I've tried this before, I've tried everything before, I've read every self-help book, you know, my spouse is going to kill me if I sign up for something new. This isn't like anything else. It's the whole reason I ended up creating the Organized Artist Company is because I couldn't find what I was looking for. Like, there were all these great organization books out there, but they were for business people and people who like did the same thing every day. And that's not us. And there's all this conventional wisdom about how to get conventional projects done, but we're not conventional people and we're not doing conventional things. We need a new way. So that's what this course is. It's about a new way, you figuring out your own personal new way. All right? Does that make sense to everybody? MK says it's a great course with a lot of fab tools. Thank you, MK. I like to think so too. That's excellent. Good. Some of you have some other accountability groups. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Anne says a 2-weekly Skype with other writers for which we set goals. So effective, even if it's sometimes a scramble on the day of the Skype. Man, deadlines is like how we know God loves us. Like everything happens at the last minute. That's great that you're scrambling at the last minute. Good. Let me just see if there's any other questions, and then we'll get to this number 10, 9, and 10 on the Overwhelm lists. Tamara says, these are great deadline guidelines, Sam. Tent poles. Great. Yep. Dawn says, Sam, I struggle with balancing Facebook frittering versus actual working on business for Facebook. I find Hootsuite helpful, but I wonder if you have other tips, tools, or suggestions. We just started using Edgar, edgar.com, which is a tool created by my friend Laura Roeder. It's like Hootsuite. It allows you to post stuff and schedule stuff, and that seems to help quite a bit. I would just make a list of what the daily minimum is for you in terms of your business on Facebook. Like I need to put at least 2 posts up on the wall, and I need to comment on 3 other people's things. And then once you check those off, you can know that anything you're doing after that is more for fun and games than for work. But it's hard. I mean, I agree. It's a hard gray area. But determine for yourself what's necessary for the business, and then what's kind of just fun time after that. Setting deadlines with no accountability doesn't seem to work for me. I just failed to meet them. Think I have to deal with fears of moving forward first. No, I think you just need to set deadlines with accountability. Get somebody else involved. You know, get a friend. Denise says, I already signed up. Yay, Denise, yay. We have a bunch of people already registered. Oh, so if you are one of the first 25 people to register for this course, and that means you guys watching the replay too, because I don't know how fast this course is going to fill up. So it's still possible that there's room in that first 25. You will get a special exclusive bonus that's not going to be available anywhere else. I'm going to record 3 brand new audios. One about clearing clutter and stuff, your environment, those questions we were getting earlier. One especially for writers and writing projects. And the third one about dealing with that life stuff. You know, those medical crises, that ailing parent, that juggling those big time boulder things. So if you're one of the first 25 people to sign up, you will get those 3 audios as a bonus from me, in addition to the ticket to Big Yes and the workshop itself and all the other bonuses. So that's not mentioned on the sales page anywhere, because I didn't know, again, how fast those 25 are going to go. But if you're feeling like, oh, maybe this is right for me, then dude, jump on it, because you want those 3 bonus audios. And it's satisfaction guaranteed or your money cheerfully refunded, right? If you do the first 2 workshops and you're like, this really isn't for me, or Sam annoys me and not in a good way, then just let us know, and we'll either figure out another solution for you or we'll give you your money back. It's no big deal. Okay, so you just need to let us know before the 3rd class. Does that seem fair? So no risk to you and lots of upside. I've had people who... It's weird that they would confess this, but I've had people who said, I signed up through the course, I only listened to the first call, and it was totally worth the $365. I don't even want to listen to the rest of them. Okay. So I hear that just the first workshop is worth the whole thing. So I would love to have you there. Let's talk about, right, it's the dude I'm so in. It's the dude I'm in bonus. Yep. Yeah, so the boulder thing, again, I'm going to do a whole audio on this as the bonus thing, but again, I would try the 15 minutes a day. I would try the 15 minutes a day, because when you've got those big life issues, when you've got that full-time job that's super demanding, when you have a new baby, when you have, you know, some of those other life issues that can't be ignored or delegated, spending even just 15 minutes a day on your own projects, on your own well-being, whether it's your own prayer and meditation practice, stretching, going for a walk, drawing, doodling, singing, playing guitar, whatever it is that you love to do, even those 15 minutes will keep you aflame and fueled. It will illuminate you. And it will allow you to deal with the stresses that are happening in your life in a way that is better, that feels better, a way that is more genuinely you. And I know it may feel selfish, like, oh, I can't take those 15 minutes for myself. That's selfish. No. What's selfish is you walking around exhausted, complaining, with no sense of humor, not having any fun, and not bringing joy to the people around you. That's selfish. But when you take 15 minutes to really, you know, honor your own creative voice, and then you can show up to the rest of the world, you know, like somebody who's just had some fun, like somebody who's lit up, like somebody who's working on something, like a person who has a secret. And it makes it so much easier to handle those other big issues. Right? So we can't make everything go away just by wishing. But I'm telling you what, 15 minutes a day can make an enormous difference. And I've got people who finished a thesis working 15 minutes a day. I've got people who started 5-figure businesses working 15 minutes a day. I got people who healed themselves from diseases. I mean, it's miraculous, the stories I hear. And it's not my miracle, it's yours. So that's what I would try. That's what I would try. Just make the commitment to yourself 15 minutes a day. All right?
We have a question.
Right. So, and this last one about, yes?
Hi,
Leonard.
we have a question, but hi. Do you want to? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we have a question when you're ready. Yeah,
no, let's go for it. Everybody, if you don't know, this is Leonor Chia. She's my right-hand girl. She's team leader, and you'll get to know her if you're taking Get It Done workshop or coming to Big Yes. What's the question?
Yeah, so this is a question from Peggy. She wants to know, is this course geared to help the artist/writer learn to respect and love herself and her work? Because I've had coaches try to guilt me for not getting work done. Recently at a seminar, I learned that many blocks are tied to life issues like shame and guilt. So now I know why making me feel bad for not getting my work done only makes me feel about 1 inch tall. I've turned to trying to love and respect myself and my work more and feeling good about what I accomplished. I just thought this was a really good question. And
that's such a good question. In fact, I love this question.
A lot of people will relate.
Yeah, I love this question so much that I'm going to use it on the sales page. I think that's such a good question. Yes, this whole, okay, finish the sentence. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I notice about the world. Nagging doesn't work. Yelling doesn't work. Making people feel ashamed doesn't work. You may have noticed this in your own life as you have tried to nag or yell at your spouse or partner or children or friend. Have you noticed that it doesn't really go that well? You can't even nag you into doing the things that are important to you. So it's a bad strategy. It's a bad strategy. So this doesn't have anything to do with nagging. And there's no, I mean, while there is some accountability, there's no, like, deadlines. Nobody's checking up on you. You know, I'm not your mom, and this is not school. What the Get It Done workshop is about you finding your own natural rhythms. And sometimes I have people who try the 15 minutes a day thing, and they come back to me and they say, you know what, that just doesn't work for me. I like to have a lot of time. Like, I really need 3 days in the desert. Fantastic. Go book yourself 3 days in the desert. Go book yourself an entire Saturday afternoon. You know, really find what works for you right now in your life. Right? So yeah, it's not about shame or guilt. I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think you are perfect exactly the way you are, and I think your art is ready. I think it's ready to come out of your head and onto a piece of paper, and for those of you where it's already on a piece of paper, I think it's ready to go out into the world. And for some of you, your art may be clearing out the spare room, or organizing those photographs or those scrapbooks, or just zhuzhing up your life so you feel more open and alive and engaged in your own life. That's really what Get It Done is about. There's no punishment here. You can't do it wrong. In fact, can I swear? You can't fuck it up. You cannot fuck up this course. You also can't screw up your own life. Right? There's no way to do it wrong. It's not possible for you to do your life wrong. Because if there was a wrong way, that would mean there was a right way, which means there would be two. And there's not two. There's just you. There's just one. There's just this moment right now. There's just this life. It can't have happened any other way than it has happened, so it must be right. We have to bless it correct. We may not have loved everything that's happened. Most of us are not exactly members of the Happy Childhood Club over here. But we bless it correct. And we move on from here, from where you are right now. This body, this age, this time, this project, right now. The world needs your work. You know you have something to offer. You know you have something special. They've been telling you your whole life how special you are, haven't they? maybe you should just take the note. Believe them for a second. Yes, which leads me to this, this last thing about why you're so special and you've got a million ideas and they're all so delicate and refined and it's so much gray area and you can't figure it out, and that's all totally fine. That's part of being a creative person. That's part of how the creative mind works. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's why the Get It Done workshop is really, like I said, it's about inquiry, it's about imagination games, it's about exploring new ways of doing things, about just putting things in beta, just trying it, just as an experiment, see how it goes. And it's about really embracing your own deeply wackadoodle self and your own wackadoodle way of looking at the world and really leveraging that, because when you are being the most you, it's fun and it's easy, right? It's free. It's freeing. I want you to feel free in your work. Life is not school. Life is not corporate America. Art is not corporate America. You've got to expect failure. You've got to encourage failure. You've got to put yourself in a position where failure is likely, because that's how you learn and grow. And that's what we're here for. And I don't think that you really want to, get to your deathbed and like, oh, yes, my life. Well, I kept a very tidy house and I was very well behaved. But I did not do the work that I knew would eliminate the world. You're here to illuminate the world, right? And the great thing about creative projects is that they make you new. My friend Erica Schickel is a writer, and she put in a show she wrote one time that the reason we want to have affairs, the reason we want to sleep with somebody outside of marriage, is not so much that we want to have new flesh, but that we want to be new flesh. That with a new person, we get to be someone new. We get to be someone they haven't heard our jokes 50 times. And I think art does that to us too. Art lets us be new flesh. We get to be reborn as a different person. Art renews us. We can never grow old in our art, and it's the only kind of immortality there is art. We're still looking at paintings and still reading things and still looking at photographs and still singing songs that people made, I don't even know how many thousands of years ago. You can have that kind of impact too. And again, even just in your own life. Even just in your own life. So monstergetitdone.com. That's the place to go, and you'll see all the details about the workshop there, and you can click over to the registration page from there. First 25 get the 3 bonus audios, the Dude I'm In bonus. And now, let's go for some Q&A. Oh, look, it's exactly an hour. I love that when things time out perfectly. That makes me very satisfied. This is the other thing you can count on with Get It Done, is that it starts on time, it ends on time. I'm very, structured about that. Roseanne says, oh my God, that's me, tidy house, good girl, blah. Yes, take this opportunity, take this invitation to quit being such a good girl, at least for 6 weeks, for just a little bit of time. Let your bad girl out. Let your bad boy out, right? Good, let's see. Tamara, I think you are enrolled in the course already. Some people took an early bird enrollment, so I think you're good. Mary signed up. Yay! Crystal signed up. Yay! Veronica. Yay! Oh my gosh, you guys are making my day. Veronica says, I've already found the bonus stuff really valuable, like worth the fee, and the course hasn't even started yet. Yay! That was my aim. That's my goal, is to just completely over-deliver and get you going. Your work is so important. Your work is so important. Good. Simone says, yes, the 15 minutes a day is actually the only thing that works like a charm for me. I know, it's amazing. It's so funny to me. People are so resistant to try this idea, and it works like a charm. Some of you may know it, the story's in the book, but I had a client years ago who was very resistant to the 15-minute idea thing. She was a jewelry designer, and she was like, Sam, there's no way that I could do 15 minutes. Like, it takes me 15 minutes just to get my stuff out. Like, you're crazy. And I was like, okay, well, that's true, but try it. So she tries it, and she ends up making herself like a little tray, like a little kit, sort of. So her stuff is already laid out, and then she can just pull it out for 15 minutes and do a little, work. Well, in a week, she had made 3 necklaces, which was 3 more necklaces than she had made in the previous, 6 months. So now she's thinking maybe there's something to this 15-minute-a-day thing. So she had a cubicle job that she hated. She was convinced that the fluorescent lights were completely just sucking her soul away. And I think it's true. I think fluorescent lights do suck your soul away. So she was also apprenticing at a tattoo parlor. She wanted to be a tattoo artist in addition to the jewelry thing. So she started bringing her little jewelry kit to the tattoo parlor, like in the downtime, right? So she could be doing it when there wasn't work to do. Well, the people at the tattoo parlor didn't know that she made jewelry. So all of a sudden they're carrying her jewelry at the tattoo parlor, and now between the jewelry and the tattoo, she's got enough money that she can quit the horrible cubicle job. So then she started painting, right? So I'm here to tell you, it's amazing where that 15-minute thing can go. It's amazing. It's amazing. Let's see, how are we doing? Tamara says 15 minutes is doable. I cleaned out and donated all kinds of extra stuff. My office is clean and ready to go. Yay. Excellent.
Sam, Donna has a question, and she asks, are you talking about 2 opportunities, a web-based program and a live workshop? Could you clarify?
Yes. So the Get It Done workshop is done on this format. So it's live video webinars that are recorded. So you can be here live and ask me questions, and you can also watch the recordings anytime. You will have lifetime access to these recordings. There is also 2 Q&A calls. I think those will probably be teleclasses. We'll probably do those on the phone. And then there's the Big Yes in July, which is July 9th to the 12th, and you get a free ticket to that event. So if you can come, fantastic. If you can't come, we'll miss you, but it's a bonus, So does that make sense? So we've got the 6-week virtual online training like this. That starts March 26th. So you've got a little time, but don't delay because you want to be one of those first 25 to get the 3 audios. And so that starts March 26th. It goes until end of April, beginning of May, something like that. And then in July 9th to the 12th is the live Big Yes in LA. That's a live event at the Westin LAX that we'll all be at together.
Awesome. Jill has a question. She writes, when you struggle with too many ideas, is there a way to start narrowing the focus right now?
Yeah, there is. Like I said, the first bonus you get is the Procrastination Domination Starter Kit, and that will clear it up for you like that. But aside from that, I would focus on one of a couple of things. You can pick which one of these makes most sense to you. I would pick the thing that's closest to completion, right? So you can just get it done, ship it, get it out of the house, and get that good feeling of accomplishment. Or I would pick the thing that has the highest return on investment. What's going to bring you back the most? The most money, the most satisfaction, the most relationship, the most whatever it is, most spiritual satisfaction, whatever it is you're looking to get back. Which one is going to bring back the most for you? And you're kind of guessing, but there are things we know aren't really going to get us anywhere, and other things we feel like, ooh, that will probably have a big impact. And then the third criteria, if neither of those appeal to you, is I would just go with the one that get really quiet and take one of those deep breaths and listen to what that deep inner wisdom says. Like, what does it whisper to you? And it probably is for me anyway, it seems like a very calm, quiet voice. It's always and it always says something like, I don't know, maybe try the novel. I don't know, maybe this. It's very sort of unassuming, that voice for me. As opposed to the voice of the ego, which is always like, you have to do this, you're going to fail, everything's going to fall apart, we're going to die and be homeless, it'll be awful, you're going to fail, people will laugh at you, it's going to be awful. The ego speaks in absolutes. You always do this, you never do that. The inner wisdom understands that there's a lot of gray area and tends to speak in a very loving tone of voice. So if you can get in touch with that very quiet, loving tone and see what that voice wants to do, what advice that voice has for you, that would be what I would pick. I would either pick the one that's closest to completion, The one that's going to bring you the biggest return on investment, or the one that you just really want to do the most, even if it seems impractical or illogical or like it's not going to work. Because I'm here to tell you, practicality and logic are a little bit overrated in my book. I mean, yeah, there's always some practical concerns, but mostly it's the impractical, crazy stuff that works, in my experience. I mean, let's face it, my entire email follow-up sequence is poetry. Now, there is no business book in the world that says, like, oh yeah, write poems. That'll get them, right? It's completely illogical. But because of who you are and because of who I am, it works great. We have a great time with the poems, right? So there you go. Good. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Any other questions, Leonora? Good. How are we doing?
Yeah, if you have other questions, go ahead and type them into the chat now. There's a couple minutes delay, so I'm waiting for your new questions to come in. I think we've a lot of questions about, like, how can I just decide on the next step to take? That's kind of what you've been speaking to. People jumping in, which is awesome.
Yay! Welcome to the course, everybody. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And if you enjoyed this and maybe the workshop isn't for you, please refer a friend to it. You know, we can't I have a dream of a world in which everyone on the planet spends 15 minutes a day on their creativity, where having a conversation about what your creative project is as normal as talking about your workout schedule or your new diet thing. Like, oh, I'm paleo. Really? I'm doing Pilates. Really? That's great. You know, I want, you know, hey, I've been doing some ceramics work lately. Really? Ceramics? I've been playing the ocarina. I love the ocarina. Like, that's what I want the water cooler conversation to be. I want that to feel perfectly normal for everyone. I want, you know, the daytime talk shows, how they have, like, their medical expert and their home decor expert. I want them to have a creativity expert. Like, I want that to be just like, of course. Of course we're talking about that. Of course everybody's going to spend some time every day nurturing their own creative voice. So that's my dream for the world. And if you can get on board with that, yay. And if you know some other people who can get on board with that, yay. Because I can't very well have an entire grassroots organization movement all by myself. I need you to spread the word. So please tell people about this webinar. And even if it's years from now, you know, first of all, I'll probably still be offering this workshop because I love it. but even if I'm not, I'm hopeful that the material that was contained in this webinar is enough to inspire you and move you forward in your creative projects. Because I'm here to tell you, the world needs your art, your voice. You are the only you there is. You're the only you there is. Only you have your ideas, and only you can execute them. We're not here for very long. So take this opportunity, take this Get It Done workshop opportunity to move forward on your projects, whatever they are, even if you're not sure what your project is. Even better. Even better. Okay? Good. Any other hot questions here? Denise says, I love the way I honor everyone's creativity. Oh, that's very nice of you to say. Thank you. I love your creativity. Easy to honor.
Leona asks, what should I do if I'm paralyzed with fear? I procrastinate.
Yeah, that makes you a person. Okay, again, we sometimes think like, oh, other people aren't insecure, or other people don't get afraid, or somehow it's easier for everybody else. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, I'm a published author. I work with other published authors. I work with celebrities. I was just at a celebrity's house last night with Emmy Awards sitting right there, and he's talking about his fear and insecurity. So just understand that's part of the process. Those are the dragons at the gate. Like, you know, my sister took my niece and nephew snow tubing recently, and my niece loved it. She's going down head first and circling, spinning around and stuff. My nephew, who's 5, did not love it. He found it a little frightening. They convinced him to come up a second time to go down the mountain, and he got to the top and said, no, it's too scary. I don't want to go again. I can't go. And my sister said, honey, there's only one way down. And so he did it. He went down the mountain a second time, or went down the hill a second time, and he was frightened, but he did it. And then they stopped. You know, they went and got some cocoa after that. They didn't, you know, they weren't into trying to push him or anything. So that's, you know, just be a really good parent to yourself. You know, say, sweetheart, I know you're afraid, but let's just try this. And what I would really do is make some art about being afraid. I'd draw a picture of the fears. I would make a little short story about being rejected or whatever it is you think is going to happen. Doesn't have to be good. You can take it won't take more than 5 minutes, but just get those feelings out and see if you can't move past them. That's my advice. But that fear thing is no joke. So good for you for recognizing it, and good for you for getting to work on it. Sylvia says, does my book come in audio? That's such a good question. Or is it just in print? Right now it's just in print. I'm hoping to do the audio version sometime this year. Yeah, I'm hoping to do the audio version sometime this year, so stay tuned.
Sally asks, she just wants to know your answer to this question about how do I move forward if I'm not sure what the next step is?
Well, it depends what kind of not sure about the next step is you are. Because some people are not sure about the next step because they love to just stay in a state of I don't know. Like, that's a very safe place for them. Like, somehow psychologically that feels safe. So that, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the next thing is. I'm not sure. I'm still working on it. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still researching. Like, if that's what's happening, if you're playing the game of I don't know, then again, I would make some art about I don't know. I'd make some art about that voice in your head. And I would just get really quiet and just listen, you know, like if you were just going to spend 15 minutes on one tiny little thing, one simple, easy process, what might it be? Just for a day, just for today. What might it be? And again, you know, the Get It Done workshop is jam-packed with these kind of exercises and worksheets really designed to help you get underneath all this, to figure out what your motivating factors are, your values, your ways of working, how you might want to get your work out into the world, what other people you know you can leverage, different kinds of ways to project manage, different kinds of ways to budget. I know that seems like a terrible word, but believe me, we make it fun. Calendar, scheduling, dealing with your day-to-day life, dealing with some of those inner monsters, you know, those inner critics and early childhood stuff, late childhood stuff, just last week stuff. We cover a lot of that ground in the workshop. So there's a limited amount of help that I can give you just in this environment right now, but I would love it if you signed up and we could work on that more. Bonnie says, I feel motivated. Oh.
Good. I feel motivated and inspired, yet I get stalled with prioritizing and making real progress. It sounds like this course and community might be a solution to keep me on track.
Yeah, I think it would be. And that's a great place to be, of like, ooh, you've got the energy, like you've got the zhuzh, right? You just need a little focus, a little support, a little scaffolding to kind of help you move up, move forward. I think this would be just the right thing. And again, if you try it and you do the first 2 weeks and it's not really for you, just let us know and we'll either roll you into some other program or get you some other help or give you your money back, whatever seems like the best solution. Okay? And really, those...
Noriko,
Mm-hmm.
Noriko asked, I've been doing 15 minutes a day for a little while. It works really well, but now I have a backlog of unread emails, and I'm overwhelmed by those emails. So what can I do?
Yeah. That's okay. So Noriko's saying she's been doing the 15-minute a day, and it's great, but she's got a backlog of unread emails. What to do? Well, there's a couple things you can do. You can hire somebody pretty cheaply on Fiverr. You can get a VA on Odesk. I can recommend some VAs for you. I mean, really, you could give somebody $35, and in an hour, they will prioritize your inbox for you, get rid of the junk, and send you the 5 emails that are actually important, which is probably what's in there. So that would be one solution, is to delegate. The other thing I do, email, I find, especially sorting email, not so much responding to email, but just sorting through the what the hell's in there. I find it to be a really, what I call a Seinfeld activity. So there's probably some TV show that you like to watch that doesn't require your full attention, right? So maybe it's a rerun of Seinfeld, maybe it's some game show, maybe it's Amazing Race, whatever it is, you know. Get out your computer and just sort the email sort of while you're watching TV, because it can be a little mindless, and to really spend all of your brain power in the peak part of the day, you know, when you're really working at your best, to spend that on sorting email, that's not the highest and best use of your time. So find a time when you're a little lower key and do it, and like I said, do it with something else in the background. And then again, if you do it in relationship with a show, it's just half an hour, you're done. Or an hour, you're done. How's that for a strategy? Good. Molly says, I have many issues with scheduling. I've tried agendas, reminders, and I'm getting some results from lists and mind mapping because I'm a visual person. Is there anybody the same? Like, I need to draw a timeline of my day to consider the hours. Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, one of the things we do in Get It Done is make a time quilt. We actually use color blocking to help you take a look at your week, so that you can make sure that the stuff that's really important to you is getting done, and also that you're allotting, again, some of that buffer time. And I had a girlfriend who has chronic time management issues do this, and she realized that she was trying to get in an additional 26 hours of activity into every single week. She was overscheduled by a full day. Right? When you really start to slot things in there, you can, and especially when you color code it, you can really see, like, oh, no wonder I'm overwhelmed and exhausted. There's actually not enough hours in the day. And it really is about time management, because everybody walks around saying, oh, I don't have any time, I don't have any time, I don't have the time. How can that be? Everyone gets the same 24 hours. We all have the same amount of time every day. I don't have any more time in the day than you do. But I get a lot done because of the way I use my time, and the projects I choose to do, and the things I choose to say no to. So yeah, we absolutely look at that. But good for you for working on it and noticing what really works for you. The color coding thing, huge, huge. Like a lot of you, I'm a visual person. When things go in a drawer, they die. So I have things out. I have them in my folders. I used clear folders, stuff like this, so I can see things. Yeah, there's a lot of strategies like that we'll talk about. Let's see. Sally says, Sam, do you have any tips on reigniting your passion for your creative pursuits? I know what I want to do. I know that deep down I'm passionate, but I also feel tired and I guess overwhelmed. Could just be exhausted. But would love any suggestion on something that could be done each day to tease the passion back out into the open. And I suspect you're going to say something that involves 15 minutes. Yeah, I probably will say something that involves 15 minutes. I would... Now, this is just sort of an intuitive hit. I don't really know if this is right for you or not, so you tell me. I think it sounds like you need more fun. Like, I don't doubt the passion, but I think you need to pick something that's fun, like, and that you've never done before, and that's going to really call out, make you feel stupid, like tap dancing lessons, or I will tell you, I have a passion for paint by numbers myself. I love paint by numbers. I find it very relaxing. I don't know, some activity you've never done or tried before, something that feels really silly. I would go for silly, and let the silly lead you on to the passion. Right? Something you can't even fail at. It's so stupid. Right? Try that. Try that and see how it goes. Take a little pressure off yourself. You know. After all, remember, this is fun. This is the stuff you're good at. It's the art stuff, the writing stuff, the projects. You're good at that. So yeah. Bonnie says, did I miss out on the How to Make $1,000 course included? Ha ha! Bonnie saw the old version of the sales page. Here's what's happening with the How to Make $1,000 webinar. Since there's a little confusion, if you want it, I'll absolutely just give it to you. But what Leonore and I thought might be best and most helpful for you guys is to give that a little bit later on in the course, and maybe in conjunction with registering for Big Yes, so that, so to sort of say, okay, let's get started on your creative projects, and then once we're moving on that, start to focus on how could a person make money off of these things. So I felt like it might overwhelm you to be dealing with the deep money stuff right away before we've even started class. So that is a bonus, and you will get it but you're going to get it a little bit later, and I left it off the sales page so as not, the new sales page, so as not to confuse anyone. Does that make sense? Thank you for asking, though. That's an excellent question. And it's a really killer webinar. I can't wait for you to get it. But yeah, I thought we'd wait a little bit and get a little further into the process first. James says, I see that the seminar is live. Just so I understand, will I be able to access the talk later if I miss it? Scheduling is harder than usual today. Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I think what we're going to do is evergreen this webinar so you can actually register for a time and it will play for you at that time. So some of you may be watching this on what seems like a live replay, and that's what that is. So yes, that will be available to you for sure. For sure. So that's why you can tell your friends to check it out, because they'll get to see it too. Let's see. You guys are asking such great questions. Really brilliant. Sally says, that's so good. That question was from a different Sally, but the answer was very helpful. Oh, good. So there you go. Lots of Sallys. And this is so great that so many of you are staying on for so long. I thought for sure everybody would jump off at the hour point because, you know, these things are usually an hour, but I love to see that you're all still here, and it really tells me how engaged you are in this question. And, you know, it's the secret to a happy life is having great questions. Like Rilke said, right? It's not that we're supposed to find the answers. It's that we're supposed to live the questions themselves. Live the question itself, and someday you may live your way into the answer. That's what the creative life is for. So it's not about finding one single solution. It's about staying engaged with the question. You guys are really demonstrating to me that you are right there. You are right there.
Sylvia has a question. She asks, accountability is very important for a creative genius, but how important is a mastermind group for creative genius?
You know, I think it depends on who you are and where you're at and what you're into. I mean, I love getting support from my peers. I'm involved in a couple of different mastermind kind of groups. The key is, though, the other people. They really need to be people that you really admire and respect and want to be like and want to impress and want to show up for in the best possible way. And I think it's important that the group have a real focus. For a couple of years, I've been involved in a very small women's group, mastermind group, and the focus of our group really is about our spirituality in business. Like, how is our business calling us forward to grow spiritually? You know, what does God want for our business, or how do we perceive the divine in our business? And that's been really helpful. It's been great to have a forum to talk about that with other people who are kind of at the same level I am, or sort of in the same kind of business I am. There are other coaches and teachers, probably some of them people you know. But it's a place where we get really, really vulnerable and really ask really hard questions of ourselves and of each other. So it's not something I would enter into lightly. There's another group I'm in that's much bigger, that's more, it's really just for six-figure business owners who are conscious, again, who want to be doing good in the world as they're growing their business. And that's very useful too. So a peer group is absolutely important. You know, being in a mastermind, I like it. It works for me, but I know it's not for everybody. Does that help?
Yeah, Tamara and Jill both ask, they both registered for Get It Done, and they both want to know what they can be doing in the interim before the class starts. What
they can be doing in the interim before the class starts? Yeah, great question. So I would start with the 15 minutes a day, for sure. For sure. And really, set your timer, find the time that works for you, start experimenting with different times. I usually recommend the morning, just because for me the day gets away from me. Plus I get kind of tired in the afternoon and I don't really want to do anything. But if I do it first thing, I find that very energizing. But it may be different for you. You know, I tell the story in the course, you'll hear the story again later, but about my friend Emily Beck, who wrote 2 award-winning plays during her lunch hour, which of course wasn't an hour, it was like 20 minutes a day. Because she had this very demanding full-time job and 2 little boys at home, there was no other time. It was not her preferred way of working, but it was the time she had. And it worked, you know, she actually was able to get some very good work done. Other people love to work at night. Other people love to work in the middle of the night. So really experiment with what starts working for you. The other thing I would start doing is really make an experiment for yourself of engaging your intuition. Of just, order the first thing you see on the menu. Don't even look at the menu. Just glance at it, and whatever you see, order that. Take a different way to work. Just start driving around and see where you end up. Go into places you haven't been before. Go exploring. Start stimulating that adventuresome part of yourself so that you can get stirred up and fed and, and absolutely, I would set a goal for yourself between now and March 26th, which is when the first class is. Like, what would you like to have done by then? It's a good chunk of time, so what is it? Of course, depending on if you're watching this replay later, it might be quite close. But in this next month, what would you love to be able to look back and go, oh, I totally did that? Set that goal for yourself and spend 15 minutes a day working on it. That's what I would say. Thanks. I'm poking myself in the eyes with my glasses.
Carol says, thank you so much for a great webinar. It is great to have someone talk about God. In the art field, it's almost taboo or embarrassing using the G word.
Yeah, I found that there's always been a very deep spiritual component to my work. And in the last couple of years, I finally sort of came out of the closet about it and just started talking about it openly because it's so much a part of who I am and so much a part of what I see in art. I believe that this is one of the ways in which we are God's hands and feet. We create things. We make something out of nothing. And that spirit, that creative, generative spirit, that's God in action. Cells dividing, ideas happening, people touching. That's God to me. Us being God's hands and feet. So when we're sitting on our hands and we're not doing the work that our heart is calling us to do, it's a big no to the universe. And I don't know. I find that my spirituality likes yes a lot more than it likes no. It helps me grow as a person when I do my work.
Molly's question is, in the Monster Get It Done, do you tell us how to get creatively unstuck? Like, procrastination is something, but going beyond that, like also reaching a deeper creativity. Really good question.
Really good question. Yeah, 100%. It's all about, as we move deeper into the course, we go deeper and deeper into your creativity and into getting you unstuck and into what some of those deeper patterns might be. And, not... some of them are very light, some of them are very deep, some of them really work for some people. Like, some people are like, oh my God, that one exercise, it's incredible. And other people are like, I didn't really care for that one. It's very much, like I said, it's very much about you finding what works for you and me offering you as many tools and worksheets and questions and pokes and prods and inspirations and stuff as I possibly can to help you move. Because you need a big toolkit. What works one week is not going to work another week. And the way one project frightens you, another project is going to frighten you in a totally different way. You're going to need a whole other set of tools to deal with that anxiety. So, yeah, it's really about giving you as big a toolkit as I possibly can so that you can... it's not that we expect everything to go perfectly. Like I said, we kind of expect failure, in fact. There was just a moment on the 365 Club page, on the private Facebook page that you will get to be a part of if you join in, where one of the members had, how about this, she published her book this year. Yay, she was at Big Yes last year, did not have a book. 9 months later, book. Amazing, right? So, but she was unhappy with it, even though it went to #1 in a category on Amazon. She wasn't happy with the editing. She wasn't happy with the way that it looked. So she went and had it re-edited, and it's a little better now. But she's still feeling kind of embarrassed about that first version, and she was feeling sort of unhappy about it. And she got a lot of good cheerleading from the rest of the group. People were very, very loving and supportive to her, and saying like, we understand that you're disappointed, but feel great. Feel so proud of yourself. Don't miss the celebration here. Don't miss all the great news. And what I said was, I'm here to tell you, if it had not been the editing, it would have been something else. Some other horrible thing would have happened. The cover design would be bad, or Amazon would break, or the roof would fall in. I mean, it happens all the time. There's always a certain amount of chaos. When you start changing, when you start doing things differently, you're throwing the systems off balance, and all kinds of things are going to start to happen and go completely wackadoodle, completely wonky, and you're going to feel like that's maybe a sign to quit, and it's not a sign to quit. It's a sign to keep going, because it means that you're actually having an impact in the world. You're actually doing things differently. So don't expect it to go perfectly. Just expect yourself to have the tools to handle when it doesn't go well. Does that make sense? Good.
Awesome. Donna asks, I signed up for the workshop. Yay. Do you also remember, or will that info be covered during the course of the webinars?
Excellent. Signed up for the workshop. Yay! Welcome. I'm so glad to have you. Yay! That's terrific. And do I recommend buying the book as well? Yeah, of course. We do. Some of the material in the book. The book obviously came out of 15 years of teaching this workshop, so some of the material and stories are the same. Some of it's different. Some of it's probably verbatim. I mean, there's some teaching stories that they're good stories, and I tell them the same way every single time, so don't get between me and my story. But some stuff is different, so it's up to you. If you like to read, I think you'll find it enjoyable. If you'd rather not, it's not mandatory. But most people seem to really like the book, so I'd recommend it. I like it.
Bonnie says, I love your eloquence. Roseanne and Annalisa and Jill and Denise really love the connection between spirituality and creativity, and appreciate having this be part of the conversation.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Yeah, I think it's a huge part of the conversation, and this link between spirituality and creativity. And I know people get very touchy about their spirituality, and I would never get in between anybody and what they believe or don't believe. It's none of my business. But I've never seen anybody who didn't look at something beautiful, either a beautiful view or a beautiful piece of work, or hear a beautiful piece of music, and that feeling that people get, that like, oh, that's so beautiful. That sense of awe and tenderness, that emotional movement that we have when we experience art, that's the divine right there. That's all things becoming one. That's the things, the boundaries between us dissolving, right? So art explains our feelings to us and lets us know that the human experience is not just ours alone, it's shared. So that to me is very, get a little puddly, that to me is very spiritual. So, like I said, call it whatever you want, but I've never seen anybody who was able to look at something of beauty and not, or a newborn child or something, and not feel that, that sense of something bigger, that they're part of something bigger.
I just wanted to say thank you from all the way over here in Australia. It's been very early in the morning here. I've been up all night working on a new web series. Thank you for your generosity, time, insight, and help. I'm so glad that I stayed up to participate.
Oh, Sally, thank you so much. It is extremely early in the morning in Australia, so yay to you for being up and staying up with us. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your kind words. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. As you can tell, I love doing this. I'll do this all day. So I do this all day. Ask Leonore, do I ever talk about anything else other than this? Hardly ever. It's my thing. It's my thing. And it's which sort of goes to the other point about productivity, is that when you're doing stuff you love, it doesn't feel like work. People often, like, oh, you work so much. I'm like, do I? It doesn't feel like work. It feels like I just get to do what I love to do and talk about what I love to talk about with other people who are doing what they love to do. So that's what happens when you start to follow your deepest desires into a whole new life. Good. Any other questions? I don't want you to keep you any longer than I have to, but I want to make sure that you get your questions answered. if you are watching this later and there's no chat, you can go ahead and email us at admin@theorganizedartistcompany.com, or you can just go to the website. There's a contact us thing there. For sure, go to monstergetitdone.com and register for the workshop. I think for $1 a day, for $365, you're worth it. You're worth it. Your project's worth it. Your well-being is worth it. Your intuition is worth it. Your the person that you get to be to your world, this new person, that art will make you new, that's worth it. I know you can do it. I know you can get out of whatever it is that's got you stuck. I know you can. I've seen hundreds and thousands of people do it. So I know you can do it. And you wouldn't be here watching this webinar if you couldn't do it. So you have a big dream. And it's time. Now. Now is the time. There isn't another time other than now. It's not going to be better later. You're not going to have more money. You're not going to feel more ready. It's not going to be better timing. There's no such thing. There's only now. So if you're getting that intuition, please sign up. We'd love to have you. Everybody, you're wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to start Get It Done with you. And I don't know, Leonora, is there anything I'm forgetting?
I think that's it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and the energy of this community, and I hope to see some of them next month, and just so grateful to have you as part of our family.
Exactly. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's do one more round of breathing just to close out this circle. You ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you all. Thank you for doing this with me.